So the Eternals currently has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes in the critics score, and today we're going to be discussing, should us as Marvel Cinematic Universe fans be worried? Should we be excited? Whatever it is, please let me know in the comment sections down below after the video. And before we start the video off, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells. That way you can be notified future content here on the Multiverse of Movies, where we talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, Eternals, Shang-Chi, whatever stuff you like about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, whatever fandom you belong to. This is a place for you, because this is the Multiverse of Movies, because over here we like to enjoy what truly is the Multiverse of Movies. And also go right now in the link description down below. I'm finally selling merch, so if you're a big fan of the YouTube channel, please make sure you go support the channel by going down to the link description down below. It's the first link in the link description down below where we're selling merch. We also have a lot of fun stuff there, and all the money on that merchandise will be used to support this channel, maybe buy better equipment, whatever it is. But anyways, let's get on to the rest of this video, and please comment down below after you're done with the video. Always make sure to watch the complete video. That way we can talk, we can have conversation, because that's what the Multiverse is. It's a channel for all movie fans. But anyways, let's continue with the rest of the video. And yeah, you heard me right. Currently, right now, as I see right here, Eternals has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes with 95 reviews. Now, I know a lot of people on this channel aren't fans of Rotten Tomatoes. They aren't fans of critics. They're always like, oh, critics are getting paid. But let's keep the facts here. Look, I've always said this. To me, the job of a critic is not to tell you what you should and shouldn't believe. The job of a critic is to tell you what their interpretation of a film is, their version of what they like. They're more knowledgeable, and they know more about movies than we do. Does that mean that their opinion is more important than ours? Obviously not. Everyone has a subjective opinion, so I want to put that disclaimer out there. But it is important to note that Eternals has a 63% currently with 95 reviews. Now, I would, if this was only like 20 reviews, 30 reviews, I would maybe be like, all right, nothing to worry about. It's just the first few reviews. But with 95 reviews already, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, that to me is a little concerning. Now, obviously, critics, everyone's different when it comes to point of view of film. So for all I know, maybe you're going to go watch Eternals and you're going to love it. We still have till next week. I'm going to go watch Eternals on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review on Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But look, I think the Eternals trailer looked really good. I'm a big fan of the Nomadland film from Chloe Zhao. I think she's a great director. I haven't seen much of her projects, but I did see Nomadland and I did like it. Now I'm excited for Eternals because I think Eternals is a great film. But it is important to note that 63% is probably the lowest a Marvel film has ever gone, or at least an MCU film, because most MCU films, you see them at the 80s, 90s. A lot of people love the MCU. The MCU is one of the most iconic franchises in cinematic history. Kevin Feige has built an empire, but we all know that Eternals was going to be very different from when the trailers came out. But let's hear the reviews out. Now, going through a lot of the reviews, I keep seeing a lot of people. Look, a lot of people, it's like I see these two sides. It's one, either you love this film a lot or you either just think it's boring. I've been seeing that a lot on social media, all the critics, all the people who have seen it. Like, for example, The Real Rejects, the guy with the long hair. I know he didn't like it, but you also have, like, John Campea, who really liked it. But you also have, like, Grace Randolph, who didn't like it. It's like you have these kind of patterns of people who it feels like a mixed bag. This genuinely, so far, feels like the most mixed MCU film. And the thing is, we got to wait until the audience sees, us. I do wonder, are we going to like it? Because from every critic, even the ones that like it and don't like it, both sides, I keep hearing the same thing. This does not feel like an MCU film. This feels so much more different than ever. It doesn't feel like a typical Marvel film. Jeremy Jahns was probably the only critic I heard that said that it still feels like a Marvel movie. It does feel a little different, but still more. But from what I'm hearing, it's like I keep hearing that this is a dense film. It's different from anything that MCU's done. And to me, that sounds good. To me, that sounds great. I want to see different. And I love the MCU. I loved Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, to me, is a top 10 best comic book film of all time. And then you have movies recently that came out. Black Widow I didn't like. There's this thing with the MCU that sometimes their formula, everyone knows what the MCU formula is. Everyone knows what Marvel does in their movies. When you go watch a Marvel movie, you feel like you're in a Marvel movie. But sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. To me, Black Widow didn't work with that. It felt like Marvel was doing something weird and random with Black Widow with when they used their formula. Then you got Shang-Chi where it worked perfectly, except for like one scene. But obviously it's all subjective. Everyone has a different opinions. That's just my personal opinion. Like, I love Endgame. I love Infinity War. I didn't like Far From Home. I didn't like Black Widow. I didn't like Thor the Dark World. But definitely hearing the reviews. And I do recommend you guys to go read all the reviews. I keep hearing it's a dense film. It's different. But the thing I am most concerned about with audience. Now, reminder, I have not seen the film yet, so obviously I have no say if I like the movie or not. But one thing I keep seeing a lot of critics that do and don't like it is that the movie's slow and it's more talking rather than action. They say there is good action in this movie, but it's not emphasized. And I do wonder, how are Marvel fans going to react to it? Because look, let's be honest, as Marvel fans, we're used to seeing punchy CGI fight battle, all that. And I like that. I love that. I love that. I'm a big sci-fi guy. I'm a big action guy. I love those kinds of movies. But it still is something to note. To is Could it affect the viewing experience for the typical Marvel fan? My answer is I think it might. If from the reviews, if from the reviews, let's say if from the reviews, let's say the movie is slow, um, is a slow movie. It's slow pace. We do know this is the second longest MCU movie of all time, just behind Endgame. It's even longer than Infinity War. If the reviews are right that the movie is slow paced, and look, I love slow paced movies. My favorite movie of all time is Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that movie is slow paced. Recently, a movie like Dune came out, and I really liked Dune. And you got movies that are slow paced, that are slow. Godfather, I would say, is pretty slow. Those movies, I like slow movies. And I also like fast movies, like Venom Let There Be Carnage. I really like Venom Let There Be Carnage because it was fast, it was quick, to the point. To me, the pacing of a movie is one of the most important movies. Like, I see it a lot in my reviews. I'll always say pacing in a film is one of the most important things a movie could do. Because the thing about pacing is it's about managing what scenes fit, how you should do a scene, because some scenes require a lot of time. Some scenes require a quick amount of time. Maybe let's say it's a movie about a couple falling in love. Those scenes about them falling in love should probably be emphasized. But then let's say you're in an action movie where it's about a good guy trying to save the world. Maybe that little scene of him going to a diner, maybe that should be short. It depends on the film. And some films like Venom Let There Be Carnage work better when they're short and they're quick to the point. And then there are other movies like Dune where it feels like you require more time with the characters and learn about them and what goes on. So with Eternals, I think I'm probably gonna like the pacing because I like Nomadland. If it's anything like Nomadland, I'm probably gonna really like Eternals. Kevin Feige seems hyped, but I do think it's not about how Marvel fans are gonna feel. I think it's about how what kind of films you're into. Some people like slower paced films. Some people like these movies that are like 2 hours, that are more about philosophy, ideology. And then you got other people who are more like, I want to go into a movie, have fun, I want to enjoy, I want to cheer, I want to excite myself, I want to go in there and just have a good time, maybe bring some friends along, eat some popcorn, whatever. And it's everyone's personal preference. And I've always said this, movies are a personal preference. They're all subjective. And so the Eternals is a little bit of a mixed bag that I'm not I don't even I believe I'm gonna like it. I believe I'm gonna like it. Do I think I'm gonna think it's a top 10 MCU film? I don't know yet. I've From the trailers looked really good. And I love both kinds of films. I love movies challenging philosophy. I love movies that challenge ideology. Some of my favorite movies of all times are about challenging the morals of a character. I love those kinds of movies. I mean, Batman versus Superman. I love Batman versus Superman, and I love how it's about challenging Batman and Superman's morals. And even at some point, you challenge Wonder Woman's morals. You even challenge Lex Luthor's morals. Everyone has a moral, and it's being challenged. And from what I'm hearing for the Eternals, that's what it seems like it's gonna be. Now that excites me, but Marvel movies don't tend to be that way. Marvel movies tend to be more the other side, where it's more like fun, action, great time, build the characters up, build them, learn about them, and then we have them fight, punch, save the world, whatever it is. Marvel fans are used to a specific kind of filmmaking. And remember, one thing that needs to be emphasized is the general movie going audience Now I'm talking about the general movie going audience. I'm not talking about the hardcore fans. From the general movie audience, it's been proven that Marvel has been more successful in cinema than DC. And I know that pains me. I love DC. You guys know how much I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman vs Superman, Shazam, Suicide Squad, all these movies. But let's be honest, Marvel has been lapping DC for some time, and it's no coincidence that the DC movies that are most criticized are the ones that Zack Snyder made: Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, and even you could say, I mean, Batman vs Superman was the number one movie that got criticized, but Zack Snyder's Justice League was also somewhat polarizing, while Marvel movies tend to do very well. And look at the difference between a movie like Shang-Chi or a movie like Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. Look at how different those movies are from Zack Snyder's movies. Where Zack Snyder's movies are more slower paced, they're more slow, they require you some time. He takes his time, while Marvel movies tend to be more fast. You build up the character, you learn about them, and then you get to the fighting action. And it's no surprise that Marvel has been doing way better than DC, both box office, critically, and audience wise. And I'm talking about facts because that's been proven by the box office numbers. Even though I love DC more, I gotta admit, Marvel's been lapping DC for quite some time. I mean, for the last 10 years, actually. And this, so now that Eternals is doing something similar that Zack Snyder does, a lot of people have even been calling Eternals Kevin Feige's like version of a Snyder movie, where it's slower pace. I feel like I'm gonna love it because of that. But remember, Marvel fans and the general audience has shown more support to the other Marvel movies than they do for like DC movies. And so if Eternals feels like a DC movie or feels like a slower paced film, that's gonna be a worry for Eternals uh, with the critics and audience. And you can already see from the reviews, you see a lot of mixed bags. Oh, I just found John Campea here on the screen. Look, I just found him. He says he never reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's actually weird. But overall, it's I don't think it's a question about whether it's gonna be good or bad. I think it's a question on the personal preference of a fan, how they're gonna feel, how it's gonna hit them. Some people again like slower paced films, and some people like fast paced films. And it is good to hear if Eternals is a good movie. If Eternals to me is a good movie, I think this is going the right direction. Because my only criticism I've ever had for the MCU is it's all the movies are starting to feel like there's like a secret sauce to it. Not a secret sauce, but there's like a sauce to it. It's like a burger. Let's say you have burger with cheese every day, just cheese. Let's say you just eat a burger with cheese. And if you eat one every day, you're eventually going to get bored of it. But let's say someone puts jalapenos in it, or maybe someone puts tomatoes. It starts changing up the variety. And I think if Eternals is any different from, like, let's say if all the reviews are true, that the Eternals is much different and feels unique and feels different from the MCU, to me, that's a good benefit as long as the movie is good. As long as if the movie's bad, then that's not a benefit at all. But seeing WandaVision, seeing Loki, Shang-Chi to an extent, I do think the MCU is starting to change its pace and starting to try new things. And that's something I've criticized. Everyone who's seen the channel, everyone who's known me personally, they know that one of my criticisms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that some of the movies feel too repetitive. They feel like they're not changing their style. And I think it's good that at sometimes you change your style, especially when you're making 20 movies, when you're releasing 3 movies a year, a couple of shows even. It's nice that you change your style at least a bit. And I get that MCU's been working for a while, but I'm excited to hear what Eternals is like. I'm excited to see the movie next week. I already got my tickets booked for Thursday, November 4th, or November 3rd. I don't know what day that is, but I'm excited for the Eternals. I cannot wait to see what they have. Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, a lot of great actresses and actors in the movie. First LGBTQ plus representative in an MCU movie, so I think that's pretty nice. A lot of good things. I like it. I cannot wait for it. The trailers look good. I hope that everyone watching this video, I hope you guys really enjoy this movie, because at the end of the day, nothing feels better than hearing another person enjoy a movie. Like I like hearing other people enjoy a movie. I don't like hate. I don't like hating a movie. It's why I like emphasizing on this channel a lot that I want to love a movie and I want everyone to love a movie just as much as I do or more. It's always sad to go into like I notice a lot of look. I don't mean to criticize my fellow YouTubers here, but I always notice a lot of YouTubers here on YouTube. They love to just hate, hate, hate. And look, you're gonna hate a movie. Obviously, you are. I hated Rise of Skywalker. I didn't like Black Widow. But that doesn't mean that you should go for that. And I notice a lot of here on YouTube, more like Andy Signor, Geeks and Gamers, those channels, they tend to want to hate a movie mainly for the views. They know hate gets the views. But me on this channel, I want to love something. And hopefully by next week, I get to tell you guys how much I love Eternals. But thank you guys for watching this video. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Are you concerned? Whatever it is, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.